We are going to take care of you at every level. We are going to fight for you. We are going to fight for every single aspect that you have going. We are never going to forget you. You didn't forget me in the last election, so I want to thank you very much.
President Trump and his surrogates blitzed the state last week, stealing a bit of the limelight from the Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee. Tomorrow, Republicans take their turn with a largely virtual convention originating from Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're looking ahead to that now with Republican consultant Brian Reisinger, president of Platform Communications and an alternate delegate to the RNC. So, Brian, what do we know so far about what the RNC will look like starting tomorrow, and kind of compare that with what we saw with the DNC?
Well, I do think we're going to see a convention that's very different from what we saw last week with the DNC, although there are some obvious similarities. COVID has obviously created limitations for everybody, and there's a certain amount of that needs to be observed and is being observed. But within that, there are some very big differences. You're going to see President Trump and Republicans making their case across the country. President Trump from the White House, Vice President Pence from a memorial. The First Lady from the Rose Garden. So there's going to be, it's very dynamic from that standpoint. But you're also going to see a message of optimism. You're going to see the president talking about his record and what he plans to do for the country for the future, as opposed to really a convention that I think was not only stuck in the basement last week, but also was stuck in sort of a pity party for America and trying to make us feel ashamed of ourselves as a country. And I think you're going to see a very different message, a very different vision this week.
Well, Republicans were sort of bashing the DNC because it was virtual, but I mean, the RNC will be mostly virtual too, right?
Yeah, there are certainly virtual aspects. I mean, there's going to be some activity in North Carolina with delegates on a limited basis, and that sort of thing. But this is also going to be done very differently, not only in terms of the presentation that I mentioned and the different places that they're going to see the message spread from, but also in terms of the way that this convention is being used. So Democrats really don't have a traditional field program right now. They are saying they're going to do everything virtually, and they're kind of putting all of their eggs in that basket. Republicans are saying, you know what, we do have to do a lot of things virtually, but there's also a lot of things that we can do in person. And so there is going to be a traditional field program this fall that's also going to be knocking on doors and doing other things like that in a safe way, properly distanced. And so Republicans are showing that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. The same is true of the convention. So the convention is going to be tied to all of these organizing, basically volunteer activation events across the country, so that it's not only what's happening on the screen, but it's what's happening in communities to arm volunteers what they need to go out and get their friends and neighbors to vote. That's very important. And, you know, really, when you put it against the broader backdrop of the Democrats not coming to Wisconsin, there's really no comparison. Remember that in 2016, Hillary Clinton didn't come here, and it not only potentially cost her the election, but was actually an embarrassment for the party. After all of this talk of having the Democrat National Convention in Wisconsin, Joe Biden wasn't here.
Well, I know that the Democrats would say, because I asked them about this, that they have made a lot of progress since 2016. So they say it's not the same thing. But I did notice that the DNC really tries to be winning over some Republicans. I mean, they had people like former Governor John Kasich. They had Cindy McCain in their coverage. How is the Republican Party trying to make sure that some voters who don't like Donald Trump are not voting for Joe Biden?
Yeah, the reality is that this election will be won on what you've done, not just what you're saying. And so if President Trump is able to break through all of this and talk about his record of rebuilding the economy, which he's now working to do a second time, rebuilding our military, keeping our communities safe, that's going to matter a whole lot more than the smoke screen that you saw from the Democrats. They've got some folks up there who Republicans have long ago been abandoned by. And the reality is that the Republican Party is incredibly unified behind President Trump. I mean, that's a well-known fact that, you know, he has numbers that are as strong as those President George W. Bush had after 9/11 in many cases. So the Republican Party is unified and energized. Now the question is, how do they win the swing voters? And one of the really important things that Wisconsin Republicans have been able to do is they've been able to activate the base, those grassroots conservative supporters. And they've also been able to appeal to swing voters. And that's a really important recipe to be able to do. So I think you're going to see President Trump and the Republicans working to do that this fall, and that's going to be a heck of a lot more important than a little bit of name checking that's done at a national convention.
Brian Reisinger looking ahead to the RNC. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also asked Brian about Republicans losing support from suburban women. You'll hear that part of our conversation on our website, WISN.com. Just go to the upfront section. Our editorial partner writes a newsletter to keep you up to date on this big election year in Wisconsin. You can subscribe to the Battleground Wisconsin 2020 newsletter at wispolitics.com. Coming up, Democrats try for a unified front with an appeal to Bernie Sanders voters. Are the Bernie bros willing to vote for a candidate they feel is not progressive enough?